The Kumbhaka Mahavidya, the sacred science of breath, consciousness, and inner awakening. Part 2. The Mystery of Prana, the invisible force of life. The breath is visible. Prana is not. Yet according to the yogic tradition, it is prana that gives life to the breath. Long before science explored the mechanics of respiration, the ancient yogic sages devoted their lives to observing something far more subtle. They discovered that breathing was only the outer movement. Behind every breath, they described an invisible current of life, a sacred intelligence flowing through all existence. They called this living force prana. In the classical yogic tradition, prana is not merely oxygen, nor is it simply air entering and leaving the lungs. It is described as the universal life force that animates every living being. It is believed to sustain movement, vitality, awareness, and the continuous dance of life itself. Just as electricity cannot be seen directly but is known by its effects, prana is understood through its expression. A seed becomes a tree. A wound slowly heals. The heart continues beating. The mind creates thoughts. The eyes perceive beauty. Life unfolds with astonishing intelligence. The yogic sages looked upon these mysteries and asked a profound question. What is the invisible power moving through everything? Their answer was prana. According to yogic philosophy, every living creature participates in this universal current. Human beings do not create prana. They receive, express, and harmonize with it. Every breath becomes a sacred exchange between the individual and the universe. Every inhalation is received as a gift. Every exhalation is an act of surrender. This understanding transforms breathing from an unconscious biological process into a deeply contemplative practice. The breath is no longer ordinary. It becomes sacred, the river of life. Imagine a river flowing effortlessly from the mountains to the sea. When the river flows freely, everything along its banks flourishes. Forests grow, flowers bloom, life expands. But when the river is obstructed, stagnation begins to appear. The ancient yogis used a similar metaphor when speaking about prana. According to traditional teachings, when the movement of prana becomes balanced, the body and mind naturally move toward harmony. When its movement becomes disturbed, the mind often feels restless, distracted, or emotionally unsettled. For this reason, authentic yoga has never focused only on the muscles or physical postures. Its deeper purpose is the cultivation of harmony between body, breath, mind, and awareness. Breath follows the mind, and the mind follows the breath. One of the most remarkable observations made by the ancient yogis is this. Breath and mind reflect one another. Observe yourself carefully. When excitement arises, breathing changes. When grief appears, breathing changes. When fear enters the heart, breathing changes. When profound peace arrives, breathing changes again. This relationship explains why so many meditation traditions begin with breath awareness. The breath is always happening in the present moment. It cannot breathe yesterday. It cannot breathe tomorrow. It only breathes now. Each conscious breath gently invites awareness back to the only place where life truly exists, the present moment. As attention rests upon the breath, the endless stream of mental activity gradually begins to slow. Thoughts still arise. Emotions still appear, but something extraordinary begins to happen. Instead of being pulled into every thought, you begin observing them. Instead of becoming every emotion, you begin witnessing them. This subtle shift is one of the greatest transformations described in contemplative traditions. Kumbhaka, entering the sacred pause. Most people experience breathing as two movements: inhalation, exhalation. The yogic masters discovered a third dimension, the silent pause. This pause is the heart of Kumbhaka. It is not merely an interruption of breathing. It is an invitation to discover inner stillness. During this silent interval, practitioners cultivate relaxed awareness rather than struggle or force. Over time, many find that the mind becomes quieter, attention steadier, and meditation more natural. The ancient teachers emphasized that this stillness cannot be manufactured through willpower. It unfolds gradually through patience, discipline, and sincere practice. The quieter the breath becomes, the more clearly awareness begins to reveal itself. The 5 movements of prana. Classical yogic texts describe 5 primary expressions of prana within the human system. These descriptions belong to the traditional yogic model of the subtle body. Pranavayu is associated with inhalation and the energizing movement centered around the chest. Apanavayu is linked with grounding, elimination, and stability. Samamavayu is traditionally connected with balance, digestion, and inner integration. Udanavayu is associated with expression, speech, and upward movement. Vyanavayu is described as the expansive force permeating the entire body. Rather than viewing these as physical organs, yogic philosophy presents them as symbolic descriptions of the many ways life expresses itself throughout the human experience. When these movements are believed to function harmoniously, practitioners often describe feeling more balanced, centered, and inwardly aligned. The beginning of real practice. Many seekers spend years searching for extraordinary spiritual experiences. The sages offer different advice. Begin with one conscious breath, then another, and another. Transformation does not arrive because of a single mystical experience. It grows through thousands of moments of sincere awareness. Like sunrise, it appears gradually, so gently that you may not notice the darkness disappearing, until one day, you realize the light has always been there. Perhaps this is the deepest teaching of prana. Life is already flowing. Peace is already present beneath the noise. Consciousness is already awake beneath the restless activity of the mind. The purpose of Kumbhaka is not to create these realities. It is to help you recognize them. And that recognition marks the true beginning of the inner journey. End of part 2.